Hi, everyone. This is Jeffery Giesener for the Jewish Culture and Holocaust Remembrance Group. I'm here to present the KeepSake Diaries, a new channel for the group. I'm with my really best friend, Eva Moreimi, who's been a huge supporter and one of the founding participants in the Jewish Culture and Holocaust group. And welcome, Eva. I'm so happy to be able to have you as a founding member of the Diaries. KeepSake Diaries. And I know you have a couple keepsakes that are really special to you. One of them is looking over your shoulder, which is a Torah. So I'll turn it over to you to have you share what the memories of your Torah keepsake.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for the introduction and for inviting me. My mother, Elena, or Itza, as she was called by family and friends, together with her parents and her sister, were deported to Auschwitz, also known Auschwitz-Birkenau, the largest of the Nazi concentration and death camps in Poland. It was 1944. In Auschwitz, there was hunger, starvation, death, diseases, and brutality, and my grandparents were immediately sent to the gas chambers. My mother and her sister survived the Holocaust, and they returned to their hometown of Pleshivets. After the war, an elderly, observant Catholic woman, Mrs. Balázs, stopped by to see my mother, carrying a bundle in her arms. "I rescued this during the war," she said, "and I know that it is sacred to the Jews, and now I want to give it back to you." To my mother's surprise, she unwrapped a few rolled up Torah scrolls and handed them to my mother. She explained that during the war, the synagogue in Pleshivets was ransacked, and the Torah scrolls were thrown out on the street. And when nobody was looking, she picked them up. "They got dirty," she said, "because I picked them up from the street, but I wrapped them and hid them." My mother wanted to know where did she hide the Torah scrolls, and Mrs. Balázs explained that after she wrapped them up, she hid them inside a pile of straw under her pigs in the pigsty. She did not think that anyone would find them there. My mother was very touched receiving the Torah scrolls, thanks to the courage and kindness of this woman. And in return, she gave Mrs. Balázs a few meters of fabric for a dress. The Torah scrolls were carefully wrapped by my mother in a white damask tablecloth and remained with my parents throughout their life. The scrolls even traveled with them from Czechoslovakia to the United States. They consisted of 6 large fragments, each fragment measuring a few feet. And these fragments may have been from 3 different Torahs, but each missing and incomplete. My parents were in their 90s when they passed on the Torah fragments to me, their only child. And today, each of our 3 children have a framed Torah fragment in their home in memory of their grandparents and great-grandparents, to always remember and never let the memory of the Holocaust be erased. These Torah fragments are professionally mounted. They were professionally mounted, and they are housed inside a clear protective acrylic cover, as you can see behind me. We gave one fragment also to my cousin, my aunt's son, my aunt who survived with my mother, and another fragment we donated to our synagogue in memory of my parents with the story. This is a reminder that once there was a Jewish community in Pleshivets. And my husband and I have the remaining Torah fragment. And to me, these Torah fragments are very meaningful. because they are a connection to my grandparents whom I never met. Thank you.
Well, it's terrific. So I wanted to ask you, when did you hear that your mother and father had this Torah and brought it to the United States? So when did you learn that it was available?
I always knew that we have a Torah, but I really didn't see it because it was wrapped up. I was a child, and the Torah scrolls were wrapped up in this white damask tablecloth and safely put away in a closet. And the same thing happened after when they emigrated to the United States. My mother just kept it safely in the closet. One day they invited a friend who was a rabbi, who with his help they opened it up and they looked at it. And I did actually the same thing. But so they kept it. The rabbi said that it's in pretty good condition. But my mother wrapped it up again and put it away. This was among the very few things. There was hardly anything that remained from my grandparents. So this was something that connected her back to her hometown and to her parents and to the Jewish community. And when they were ready to move into an assisted living, my father asked me, why don't I take it to my house? So that's when my husband and I brought it to our house, and we kept it wrapped in that white damask tablecloth until a few years later when we decided we have to do something with it. And now it is in each of our children's homes as well as ours.
Now, did your children know the story of the Torahs as well?
The children know the story, and the children grew up. They were very close to my parents, so they knew many stories, what my parents went through the Holocaust.
Now, you mentioned that I know that you're from Minneapolis, where I spent a good amount of time. Which synagogue in Minneapolis did you donate it to?
We donated it to Darchei Noam, which is a modern Orthodox synagogue in St. Louis Park.
Very nice. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for bringing this tremendously memorable Torah scroll from the Holocaust, which is just beautiful, and your story is also so beautiful. So thank you for participating in the KeepSake Diaries, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you so much.